When it comes to creating momentum in your practice, you really have two options. Option A is you do it, and option B is, well, you do it. Ona Malosky from Guild Mortgage has a fantastic coaching approach called Do It or Do It. We're just gonna pick up the phone and get stuff done. Today, we're gonna sample call some long tail leads and some recent leads who are on the sidelines so you can re-engage. Hi, my friends. Clint Stitzer with Stitzer Properties and the Purposeful Practitioner. Let's hop right into a Google Meets with Ona to get you some techniques, some pre-call routines, and a few sample calls so you can get on the phone and get rolling. So here's what we're on, right? We're on this messaging and communication of right person, right time, right message. We want to reach out to the right person at the right time with the right message. And there's the principle of database, right? So shit in is shit out, grade in is grade out, and we've got to do a database audit, a spring cleaning, a winter cleaning, whatever you want to call it. But on a regular basis, we got to look at our hot list, we got to look at our warm list, we got to look at our nurture list, our watch list, all the different segments of the database. But the thing that can be difficult is just to know what to say, especially if you haven't talked to someone in a month, right? Because then there comes all this guilt, like, oh, I haven't talked to them in a month, and they're going to be upset at me because I didn't reach out. They didn't know that you were supposed to reach out. You had an accountability to reach out. They didn't know you didn't reach out. And even if they say, oh, hey, it's been hard to hear from you. I know, shoot, gosh, shame on me. So you're going to buy,
Right. Totally. Yeah, the ownership there, no doubt.
Yeah, so it'd be just super fun to just have you put on display. Like, let's make a call, let's make a pretend call the hot list. And it's someone on your hot list you haven't talked to in a while. And maybe they were hot and they went on the sidelines and you don't know how to ask if they're hot again, right? And same thing for warm and nurtures. I'll follow your lead.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Cool. Rock and roll. So ring, ring.
Yellow.
Hi, is this Clint?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Clint, it's Ona. Hey, I just wanted to reach back out to you and circle back. We actually spoke a couple months ago, and at one point you were on one of our websites looking around at a couple properties here in Reno locally, and I just wanted to see kind of where you're at in the process. Are you still out looking at homes?
Gosh, we went on the sidelines because it was so gnarly and scary there for a little bit, but it looks like interest rates are coming around. I'm still a little uncertain whether our job is going to be solid, but I think we're open to the idea. I just don't know how soon. Is it just some things I'm still uncertain about?
Yeah. Well, no, I appreciate that feedback. Honestly, I've actually spoke with a couple other clients today, and they've all spoken about the same things. They're kind of just wondering what the market's going to do and how things are going to adjust. And so basically, I was just kind of putting together my list for the spring and summer market. And so I just wanted to see if you wanted to be on that list. Basically, what I'm doing is just creating a list so that I can stay in touch with you over the coming months. And whenever you are ready, we can start looking at that financing piece. And I'm not sure, did you already put together the financing? Are you looking at cash, or would you be looking at needing financing when the time does come?
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to need a loan. I just don't know that we can qualify with how rates are. I mean, or if we can afford it. It all seems pretty wild. Didn't the Fed just raise rates yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, dude, there's seriously, I know, right? There's so many different things happening out there. It shifts like minute to minute, honestly. And so, it is a little bit up and down. And so you're like right where you're supposed to be. And I appreciate you watching the market, honestly, because I'm watching it too every day. But that's kind of why I want to make sure that I'm in touch with my clients. And so if you guys are still, in the market, but you're really just looking to see when things adjust and exactly how the market does shift, I'd love to keep in touch with you over the next couple weeks. We can keep this line of communication open. And if you're open to it, I'd love to walk you through the process come spring and see where you guys are at.
Sounds fair enough. Let's give it a go.
Okay, cool. Well, hey, let me just verify your email address and make sure that I have that correct. And then while I'm at it, I'd love to throw a couple business cards in the mail. What's a good physical address for you?
123 Unknown Street, and C Stitzer at stitzer.com.
Perfect. Well, I'm gonna get those business cards out for you, so that way at least you can kind of keep put a face with a name, and you know who you've been talking with. And then I've set an appointment here to reach back out with you in the next couple weeks just to see as the market shifts. And of course, if you have anything, any other questions, I'll throw a quick text together. And that way, if you have any, questions as the market shifts, I'll be a resource for you over the next coming weeks. And I look forward to staying in close touch and helping you on your home shopping purchase.
Cool.
Cool. Rock
Nice
and roll.
Okay, so I just threw some curveballs at you, which was fun, and we did not prep or discuss ahead of time.
It's good.
Yeah, I could see that same phone call being made to any segment of the list, right?
Correct.
So,
yeah,
when you
it's a pretty good overview.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, I saw you looking at, I saw that you had favored a couple properties on our website. I mean, that could be a nurture call, right? A hot
Definitely.
call. I haven't talked to you in a couple months. At one point, we were looking pretty heavy, just checking in, right? So let's play with a different intro for a hot, a warm. I think you hit the nurture. Let's pretend someone's hot. Like you haven't talked to them for a month or so, but like last summer they were ready to go, and then interest rates changed. They went on the sideline, and I'm still hot in your database.
Okay.
But I'm not actively showing property. So how would you lead in to that call?
Okay, cool. Hey, Clint, it's Ona. How are you?
Ona. What's happening?
Hey, you know what? It's been a minute. We haven't gotten a chance to connect in a while. I have you down here. I wanted to reach back out and see how you guys were doing. I know at one point we were kind of rocking and rolling, and then things shifted out there. I just wanted to see how you're feeling and what you guys have been going through over there.
Gosh, I'm super glad you called. I was actually thinking about you. I don't know that we're ready to get right back into the market, but we're feeling a lot better than we did last summer. It sounds like things are getting in a place we could buy. We're still a little uncertain about our jobs, with all this recession talk. We don't know what's coming, but yeah, maybe there's some opportunities again. We're seeing more houses that we like, and it doesn't look like they're getting bid up. They're actually coming down a little bit. So we're hopeful.
Yeah. I mean, you're totally right. There's a lot of shift out there, and we are coming into the spring market. And so, with more homes coming on the market, there's also some great opportunities out there when it comes to the buy side, which we're really seeing some great negotiations. So that really is an advantageous space for the buyer. And I would love to, get a chance to sit down with you guys and see if, we could look through some more neighborhoods and really dial in exactly what you're looking for. I've got some time actually later this week, Wednesday or Thursday, just to meet face to face and kind of get a chance to connect. Would you be open to that?
Yeah, that's actually probably a good idea. Some of the neighborhoods we couldn't look at a year ago, maybe we can look at again. So yeah, let's get together. That'd be great. How about you shoot me a text with a couple times? I'll talk to my wife. Sound fair?
Yeah, that sounds great. Sounds awesome. I'll put that together right now. Thank you so much, Clint. I look forward to it.
Cheers. Thanks, Ona.
You bet.
Nice. Okay.
Set the appointment. One thing I want to mention too, Clint, that I didn't kind of start off with, and this is one of the key ingredients. Before anyone's making a phone call, it's so important to put down their intention behind the phone call block. So if I've set aside an hour to make calls, whoever I'm calling, it's so good to just put down on a Post-it or somewhere that you can see it that just says, set 2 appointments, or, get 2 physical addresses to send thank you cards. Because if we can get database additions, we can get those addresses to send out business cards. We've now got them, of course, in a different space to market to them. But also we're physically able to thank them. And it just, I don't know, it bonds you a little differently. But the intention piece, if we're just calling to call, it just can kind of get me, mindless, versus, hey, I want to set 2 appointments. You're going to ask for the appointment more often than if you just like call to call. So that's one key piece of any call session that I would coach to.
Yeah, we're not just making contact attempts to fill up the contact attempt bucket. You're making contact attempts to set appointments, right? So
yeah,
on a weekly basis right now, I have a certain number of appointments I want to hit. I'm just finding a way to get the appointments, not be like, oh, I made 100 tries. Yay me, right?
Right. Yep.
So
the tallies are good, but the meat and the inside of the deal is important.
Yeah, the outcome. So another thing that I noticed, Ona, just doing this with you is it is a great warm-up, right? Because someone might have call anxiety if they haven't done it for a little bit, or uncertainty, they haven't reached out, or not really want to feel salesy, but like we just dialogue and it's pretty easy and it's pretty fun. So perhaps one might consider, before they make calls, if they're a little rusty, doing this with a friend
Totally.
different scenarios, and then
Yep.
get on the phone, right? I mean, because
Yeah.
you're talking to a human.
Yes, a role play is so good, and to do it with someone that you trust right there in the office or whatever, or even over the phone, like, "Hey, we're gonna both be making calls, like, I'm gonna call you first, we're just gonna wrap on a couple things," because it kinda gets out the jitters a little bit, and it lets you kinda roll through some of those objections, or I just think look at them as questions, really. People are just kind of asking questions, and we're just, like, having answers. It doesn't have to be these big mind blocks. It's like, "Oh, hey, we're not sure." It's like, hey, no big deal. Like, I actually talked to a few other people that aren't sure. I think if that's like the main thing that we learn how to do in any call is whatever someone tells you, just listening and saying, hey, like, thanks for sharing that with me. Or, you know what, you're not alone there. Like, I actually spoke with a couple other people that are in that same boat, and they're also just like taking a look at the market. And so, but what I'm actually doing is just finding out what neighborhood you have in mind. Or, but, and this. So you're agreeing with them with where they said they were at, and then saying that's great. While I have you on the phone, I would love to kind of know more about the neighborhood that you've really got in mind, or is there a time frame, or what's kind of causing you guys to really be moving? I don't know. There's all these ways you can just take it into these next questions that then you have more to talk about, because then they're like, oh, we love this neighborhood. Oh, cool. Do you like to hike, or like, do you guys do summer sports or winter sports as a family? Like, what's that dynamic? So, like,
Mhm.
talk to them. So anyway, I'm off on a tangent because I love phone calls, Clint. I'm a weirdo, man. I dig phone calls, dude. Go ahead, back to you.
No, it's so good. But this was fun because it unearthed a couple of things. Number one is kind of a pre. I think this would be a great just pre-dialing session routine. Like if you've got a 2-hour time block on your calendar,
Yep.
spend 10 minutes to set your intentions, right? Like in this next 2 hours, my goal is to come out with XYZ appointments, XYZ
Yep.
physical addresses, and ABC in my, cleaned up in my hot list, right?
Yep.
So for 2 hours, I'm going to come out with these X deliverables, and then you're going to enter that call knowing there's a path to find that deliverable.
100%.
Number two, hop on the phone with someone you know, like, and trust that's making calls too, and say, hey, I'm going to do a quick warm up and just run through some questions and have some dialogue. And
That's
if
it.
you have the real jitters, let the person be an asshole, and then you've
Right.
already worn it once. You can
Totally.
do it again.
It's so true. It's so true. And I love, like, it's all in this form of like layups, like we were talking about, like, what's a layup? And it's like, hey, you have a warm up, like that's the warm up. And then you come in and maybe you get to tally, like, hey, I made a couple 3-point shots. Like those are like slam dunks, setting appointments are your 3-pointers, or, came in hot off the bench and made 2 free throws. Like you got fouled, you got in there and made 2 free throws. Like, those asking for the addresses, just asking, even if they said no. Hey, no problem. I haven't earned it yet. I totally get it. No big deal. Like if someone says, no, I don't really feel like I give you that yet, or I don't feel comfortable, which doesn't usually happen if you just ask and then just be quiet. But if they do, I always just say, hey, no big deal. I haven't quite earned that yet. And I respect that. So that's a great answer. Even if you get, like, quote unquote shot down, it's okay to say, hey, no big deal. I haven't earned that yet. So, but it's like the ask that you get to count. Like you get to tally how many times did I ask for someone's address to put a card in the mail. Because those things build confidence, and those little tallies, like over time and a short period of time, you'll just exude this, I don't know, confidence and fun over the phone.
That's
It
right.
can be so fun. It can be so fun.
That's right.
So I know it's scary at first, but I tell you what, it can really be fun, and it really is a game. It really truly is a game.
Game. Okay, so from a routine perspective,
Yes.
before you start, set your tensions, do a warm up with somebody else, embrace the mindset that it's a game. That was awesome. The other thing that I heard you say are some really just techniques and principles, right? So number one is you said ask questions and just listen. Just ask and listen. That's all we're doing is just asking questions.
Yeah.
The other thing that you said that was interesting, and by all means, reword it if I'm not saying it correctly,
Sure.
but is you just acknowledged and went with it. So someone says, hey, I'm really uncertain. Yeah, you know what? I've heard that from a few people right now. It's totally fair. Next question.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Then the next one you said was really interesting. If someone gives you a no, okay, totally fair. Next question. right?
Yeah.
So
Hey, yeah,
you're just rolling with it to a certain degree and then move into the next question and not getting too upset or rolling or discouraged, right?
for sure. Because if you can get through 3 questions, usually that person is open. By then, you've kind of earned a little bit of, like, respect, and you've been listening, but you've also been guiding. So after you've asked 3 questions, even if they weren't like, I mean, they weren't whatever you wanted them to say, which was, "Yes, I wanna go shopping today." Like, who says that, first of all? Like, we've got some whack expectations. But you'll find those people out there. A few will come in like that, right? Like, "Hey, pick me, I wanna go shopping." And you'll earn those by doing these kind of phone calls. People will show up like that, like, "Hey, actually, we wanna go look this weekend." Like, you're gonna get some of those. But in the meantime, having someone say, "Hey, we're not sure, we're feeling kinda low, our credit is like, we don't think we can do it," and just saying, "Hey, like, I get you." There's a few other people that I've spoken to that are in that same boat, and actually, I'm glad that we're talking today because I actually work with clients that are in that space of working on their credit. So, like, do you kinda know where your credit is, or is it just something you've been chipping away at, like paying down some cards, or walk me through where you're at with that? And
Right.
just ask them. And,
Right.
like, they'll tell you where they're at. And if they're in pain point, like, "Well, we've always been wanting to buy a house. This has always kept us back, blah, blah, blah." You get the point. People will tell you everything you wanna know.
Sweet. And when you ask questions, you can help unpack their fear, right? So if it seems something big and you ask questions in a way that breaks it down, suddenly what seemed unachievable seems achievable a
Yes,
little bit at a time.
fear to faith is my motto. Like, if I can take
Mm,
someone who is fearful when I first talk with them, like, if their first feeling that I get is a little bit anxious and a little bit, "We don't know because," and the market and blah, 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 like, they're in that heightened space. If at the end of the phone call, it's like, "Hey, it was great talking with you today. Like, thank you so much for picking up my call. I look forward to staying in touch with you." And they're like, "Thank you for calling." And you can hear that they're in a calm state and they are appreciative of the call. That's always my goal, because they went from fear or anxiety to faith that I'm going to be able to be a guide, or we together as a team are going to be able to be a guide for them, and that we're going to honor our promises, and that I am going to call them back, and that when it's time for financing, I am going to guide them to the right place, and I'm going to follow up on that too. And if we just keep following up with our promises, like, that's how we build character, and people pick your character. Like, they pick the way you show up and the way you talk and the way that you, like, be. So, anyway, I'm fired up. I'm fired up, Clint. All right, I'm over
Go
it.
on. Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you for reaching out. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Love
Easy.
you
Isn't that
guys over
easy?
there. It's fun. I dig it. Yes, it is.
Cool.
Thanks, Clint.
Thanks, Ona. See
Appreciate it.
ya.
Bye.